Welcome back to the Barbecue Lab. I'm David Gafford, and today is the test of the $599 pellet grill. We take 5 different grills from 5 different manufacturers and run them through a bunch of different tests to help you decide which pellet-powered grill is right for you. Last November, we started working on this idea of testing the best pellet grills available at specific price points, and today's the day we get to show you the fruit of our labor. We chose the price point of $599 because that's where the most manufacturers have positioned the most grills for consumers to consider. So let's start with a disclaimer. At the time of this shooting, every grill in this video was priced at $599 or less. Now, between shooting and editing, we're seeing inflation take a toll, and a couple of prices have fluctuated up and then back down, and it's just all around right now. Our best intentions are still slave to the market, but sit back, relax, and join us for one heck of a ride. Now, here's how we went about the testing process. We laid out 22 different tests and criteria that we wanted to evaluate for each grill and started working on the best way to capture and present that data. Each of the 22 will have their own chapter marker below in this video, so if you want to come back and find a specific section, just know you can find it through the markers and save yourself some time. Let's start by introducing you to the grills that we're testing. First, we have the Cuisinart Oakmont, then we have the LifeSmart 2000B, the Pit Boss 820 D3, the Expert Grill Commodore, and the Z-Grill's 700 2C 2E. An undertaking this large isn't easily accomplished alone, and we had friends of the channel come and help us put these grills together. The Cuisinart Oakmont turned out to be the most difficult to assemble of the bunch, taking a total of 3.5 hours to completely assemble by our volunteers. The Z-Grills took a total of 3 hours, and the Pit Boss and the LifeSmart were the quickest to assemble at just 90 minutes each. Now, the advantage the Pit Boss and LifeSmart have is that the Pellet Hopper is already connected and bolted to the grill, unlike the Z-Grills and the Cuisinart. The Expert Grill came fully assembled, so we have no data to add here. The units in this testing group are made of powder-coated steel and stainless steel. The Z-Grills and Cuisinart models both have a stainless steel grill door and a stainless steel hopper door. The other 3 grills have powder-coated finishes. Now, what I'm most concerned with when I buy a grill, though, is the metal thickness that I'm purchasing. I took our digital caliper and measured the door and body of each grill, and here are the metal thicknesses for each model. The thickest metal of the group was the Pit Boss at 2.71 millimeters for the door and 2.16 millimeters for the grill body. The Z-Grills was runner-up with a door that measured 2.11 millimeters and a body of 1.55 millimeters. Both the Pit Boss and the Cuisinart come with a front shelf, and the Z-Grills is the only unit that doesn't come with a side shelf. Measuring the quality of the build really comes down to how tight the grill feels once it's put together and how well the lid fits to the body. To test this, we used the age-old paper test to see if a single sheet of paper could slide between the cooking chamber and the door. Now, a disclaimer first though. Pellet grills aren't meant to be airtight at every seal in my experience. They play a little loosey-goosey with where smoke can come out, but I still want my pellet smoker to match up well enough for smoke to come out the smokestack instead of the door. Now, the LifeSmart 2000B and the Cuisinart Oakmont were the winners of the paper test. Both resisted the paper along the side and front of the door. The Pit Boss did fine on the sides, but pulled the goalie on the bottom of the door, and the Z-Grills and Expert Grill failed on both counts. Now, could some of this simply come down to assembly? Well, sure, but that's how it shook out for us. The only issue we had with any of the 5 grills from a build quality standpoint was with the LifeSmart unit. Once we got all the pork shoulders, spoiler alert, we'll talk about those here in a few minutes. Once we got them to the point of wrapping in aluminum foil, we noticed that the LifeSmart unit was leaking grease from the pork butt onto our paver patio. Now, while our dog Uno was loving it, Melissa's not a big fan when we get grease on the patio, so we investigated further and it seems that the LifeSmart sprung a leak in the cooking chamber. I applied a bit of high temperature Permatex to seal the leak and we were back in business. Now, we can't finish talking about build quality without covering the grill grates and what they're made of. The Cuisinart is the standout here with cast iron grill grates that come standard. The other 4 models have porcelain-coated grates of varying size and thickness. Now, the thinnest grates are found on the LifeSmart unit, and the thickest grates can be found on the Cuisinart and the Pit Boss. Now, both of these are super heavy and have the ability to put on a good sear. Now, one of the biggest issues I have with grates on pellet cookers is when they move around left to right when I go to clean them. So let me show you a little bit of what it looks like when you clean the grates from each model. Here's the Cuisinart. Here's the Pit Boss. Here's the LifeSmart. The Z Grills. And the Expert Grill. Now, you saw that the most movement came from the LifeSmart model and the least movement came from the Cuisinart. The LifeSmart is the largest pellet grill in this testing group by about an inch, with a total width of 68 inches. The Cuisinart comes in second with 67 inches, the Pit Boss comes in third with 57 inches, and the Z Grills and the Expert Grill bring up the rear with 51 and 53 inches in total width. Now, if you like to move your grills around like we do, wheels matter. We're constantly moving grills from the garage to the patio, through the grass, through the mud, and through the dirt. Now, the least mobile in the group is the Pit Boss, which only has 2 wheels on one side and 2 feet on the other. Now, the Cuisinart has 4 locking casters, which means it's a breeze to move around concrete and a bear to move through grass, with no oversized wheels to rely on to traverse uneven terrain. Now, the Z Grills, LifeSmart, and Expert Grill all have 2 large wheels and 2 locking caster wheels for the best of both worlds. Mobility usually comes at a price, though, from a sacrifice of stability and the ability to stay put when the weather gets in the way. Now, the Pit Boss is solid as a rock when wind and weather hit, so the trade-off of maneuverability can have its advantages. The pellet hopper on each grill ranges from 31 pounds on the Cuisinart, 30 pounds on the LifeSmart, 24 pounds for both the Z Grills and the Expert Grill, and just 21 pounds for the Pit Boss. We were curious just how much cooking time we could get on each grill with a pound of pellets, but a single pound doesn't give great data since startup takes a considerable amount. To figure out cooking time for each unit, we loaded 4 pounds of pellets into the hopper for each grill, primed the auger until we heard the first pellet drop into the burn cup, set the grill to 250, and let it run until it ran out of fuel. Now, we capture the data on the ThermalWorks Signal 4-channel thermometer, and here's how each unit performed. Now, the Expert Grill looks like we had a pellet dam that happened during startup that actually fixed itself without intervention, and then it ran out of pellets after about 90 minutes. We opened the lid after the 90-minute mark when it looked like it was dropping temperature, and there were quite a few pellets left in the hopper that just didn't feed. So for 4 pounds of pellets, it got 1 hour and 30 minutes. Now, the LifeSmart unit, it actually lasted for 2 hours and 46 minutes with 4 pounds of pellets, and when we opened the lid, there were some pellets left there as well, so all of them had not been consumed either. Now, the Pit Boss lasted for 1 hour and 57 minutes on 4 pounds of pellets, and when we opened up the hopper and looked, there was still at least 1 pound to 1.25 pounds of pellets left inside that hadn't fed. The Z Grills lasted 3 hours and 33 minutes on 4 hours of pellets, and that had the cleanest hopper when we opened it up to see how many pellets were left. Now, the Cuisinart lasted for 1 hour and 56 minutes on 4 pounds of pellets, but really the winner here for how long a grill can run on 4 pounds of pellets is the Z Grills for over 3.5 hours. Now, it's important to note that we noticed that there were quite a few pellets left behind in the hopper that didn't feed on most of the units. The Z Grills had the least left over, and the Expert Grill had the most that weren't utilized. Now, the only unit here in the test that didn't have the ability to change pellet type was the LifeSmart Grill. The Pit Boss, the Z Grill, the Cuisinart, and the Expert Grill all have a pellet dump capability, and changing out the pellets was very easy on each unit. The only way I'm aware of to change the pellets on the LifeSmart would be to use a shop vac with a small enough nozzle to get in between the metal of the safety grate and try to suck the pellets out that way. Now, when it comes to the controllers of these 5 grills, there is more to cover than we have time for in this video. I'm going to focus on the major points as I see them, so let's talk about the ability to set specific temperatures on these grills. The LifeSmart, Cuisinart, and the Expert Grill have the ability to set any temperature in 5-degree increments. The Pit Boss and the Z Grills have predetermined temperatures on the control dial that allows you to set temperatures from 200 to 450 in 25 to 50-degree increments. If you're hoping to dial in 275 on the grill, that temperature isn't available on the Pit Boss. If you wanted to set it to 200, well, that isn't available on the Z Grills unit. Now, can you work around it? Sure. Now, is it better to have 5-degree incremental control? In my experience, I would say yes. Bluetooth connectivity is available in both the Cuisinart and the Expert Grill. The Cuisinart is the only grill in the testing group that has both Wi-Fi and Bluetooth built in, and the grill is easily controlled by an app that I downloaded for free from the App Store. So if you want Wi-Fi as a non-negotiable, the Cuisinart's the horse that you want to ride at this price range. When we look at the temperature ranges of these grills, there are 3 grills that can all reach 500 degrees, and they're the LifeSmart, the Cuisinart, and the Pit Boss. The Z Grills and Expert Grill both have a high setting of 450. On the low side, 4 grills have a low setting of 180 degrees, and those are the Z Grills, the Pit Boss, the Expert Grill, and the LifeSmart. The Cuisinart is the only unit that has a low setting of 200 instead of 180. Now, one of the things I always wonder when it comes to pellet grills is how long exactly do they take to go from cold grill to 250 degrees and ready to smoke. So we tested that with each of our units here. The fastest grill to hit 250 degrees was the Pit Boss at 7 minutes and 55 seconds. The Z Grills was second at 11 minutes and 38 seconds. The Cuisinart was third at 13 minutes and 36 seconds. The LifeSmart was fourth at 18 minutes and 35 seconds. And the Expert Grill was last, taking 22 minutes and 7 seconds to get to 250 degrees. Now, while we were at the grill with our ThermoWorks signals and a few air probes, we decided to put an air probe in the center of the main grate and another air probe within 1 inch of the internal thermometer that sends signals to the controller to tell the grill what temperature it is inside. Now, we wanted to see how close the set temperature was from both positions, as well as if there was a difference between center grate and on the side of the grill where the temperature is measured. Now, here's a graph that shows each grill set to 250 degrees, with the yellow line being the center grate probe and the red line being our air temp probe from our ThermoWorks signals. Now, one of the things you can see right away is that most of the grills overshoot the desired temperature at startup by around 50 degrees, and the Pit Boss actually overshot by over 80 degrees. They all settled down after startup, and what you'll see is that the Z Grills and the LifeSmart units had the least swing in their temperatures while holding at 250. Now, the Pit Boss had the most swing in temperature at 250, and that's significant in a minute when we get to see how these grills perform during a cook. In regards to having the same temperature between the main grate and where the temp is measured inside the grill at the grill thermometer, most were within 15 to 20 degrees of each other, but the LifeSmart seemed to have the most discrepancy here. When I look at capacity, there's 2 numbers I care about the most. First is the square cooking inches on the main grate. In this testing group, the Cuisinart leads the pack with 735 square inches on the main grate. The LifeSmart is second with 648, Pit Boss third with 592, Z Grills in fourth with 504, and the Expert Grill in last place with 442. Now, the second thing I want to know is total cooking capacity. If I'm smoking meat to feed a crowd, I want to know how much I can fit to max it out. The LifeSmart just blows away the competition with a total of 1,736 square inches of cooking space over 3 racks. The Cuisinart comes in second with 960, the Pit Boss in third with 850, Expert Grill in fourth with 770, and Z Grills rounding out the group with 697 square inches. Sometimes it's not just square inches on the grate that count when you're wanting to smoke a turkey or a standing rib roast Height matters as well. Now the grill that has the most vertical space is the LifeSmart unit with 13 inches from grate to the top of the lid. An easy way to test an oven or a grill for even heat distribution is to run the Biscuit test. We went to our local Kroger and bought 5 cans of pre-made buttermilk biscuit dough and spread them out evenly across the grate for all 5 contenders. We set the grill to 350 degrees and baked for 15 minutes, which is right in the middle of the 13 to 18 minute recommendation on the package. We wanted to see how evenly each grill cooked from front to back and side to side, and here are the results. Here's the view of the expert grill. If you look, this grill was warmer on the left-hand side and a little bit less warm on the right-hand side. The view of the Pit Boss, which was warmer on the left and a little lighter on the right. Here's a view of the LifeSmart, which was warmer on the left and a little lighter on the right. Here's a view of the Cuisinart, which was actually warmer on the right front side. And the Z grills actually heated evenly across the entire grate during this test. Now, since cans of biscuits aren't likely to be the main thing that you're cooking on a pellet smoker like this, we figured it was time to put them to the test with some of the most common recipes made in backyards across America. We started with a hot and fast spatchcock chicken on each grill. We bought 5 chickens that were all the same size, cut the backbone out using kitchen shears, and laid them flat so they would cook evenly. We ran the grills at 350 degrees and charted the grill performance and the internal temperature of the chicken in the breast with our ThermoWorks Signals thermometers. We used the same rub for each chicken as well, which for this cook was Heath Ryle's apple rub. So same recipe, same size chickens from the same company, same blend of pellets in each, which was just a competition blend, just different grills, and here's how they turned out. Overall, each of the chickens looked and tasted great. From first-hand experience, the grill that put the best color on was the Pit Boss. The rub just took on an incredible mahogany color, and it just looked better than the rest on this test. The Z grills came in second, and the Cuisinart came in third, simply for the color and evenness of the cooking. The LifeSmart comes in fourth, and the Expert Grill comes in fifth for this cook. Now, hot and fast cooking isn't the same as grilling, so this comparison wouldn't be complete without a grilling side-by-side test. We picked up a couple of packages of boneless, skinless chicken thighs and seasoned them with some Pit Boss Champion chicken rub. Since pellet grills aren't necessarily known for their ability to put a good sear on meat, I wanted to see how each would perform on both the standard grill grates that ship with the grill and a grill grate aluminum raised rail panel that we like to use to get great grill marks when we're entertaining. So we put a grill grate panel on each unit, set each grill to high, and started them up. Once they reached temperature, we let them run for an additional 10 minutes at max temp before we put the chicken thighs on. Now, before we put the chicken thighs on the grill, we hit each grill grate with a little bit of duck fat, and I put the thighs on the grill and pressed them down to ensure coverage of each thigh to the grill grate. I then closed the lid and set a timer for 5 minutes. When the timer went off, here's what we encountered on each grill. For the 3 of us who were there on the day of this test, the Pit Boss put the best grill marks and best crust on the outside of this chicken. Now, Pit Boss has an ace in the hole here though, as it has a door that opens access to direct flame over the fire pot. The Expert Grill had this option as well, and for us it came in second for this test. I was surprised how well each of the grills did grilling instead of smoking, so I don't think there was any unit that I'd shy away from grilling on. Now, that being said, I was only grilling 1 chicken thigh on the grate as close as I could get to the fire. Now, if you were cooking an entire grate full of chicken thighs, you'd only be able to get a couple of thighs over the flame door, and the rest would be cooking indirectly. Now, for me, that's where the grill grate aluminum raised grill panels come in. They're going to get hotter at the point of contact with the food for a better sear, and that's why I use them for grilling on my pellet grills, to get maximum heat at the contact point across the whole surface of the grate, not just at the 5-inch circle directly above the fire pot. Now, if you're interested in those, I'll leave a link down below, but they're a fantastic product and I recommend them for everybody. Now it's finally time for a low and slow test, and we cooked up one of everyone's favorites, the pork shoulder for pulled pork. On this test, I wanted to make the grill work. So we're just seasoning each of these pork shoulders with a simple mixture of salt and pepper. If you want to learn the exact recipe that we used, we shot a video on how to smoke a pork shoulder that you can find on YouTube and on our website over at thebarbecuelab.com. I'll link it in the card here above and place a link in the description if you'd like to check that out. Now the goal here is to see what each grill can do with just salt, pepper, smoke, and pork. That's it. No binder, no complicated injection, nothing. Now here's how each grill performed. We're going to show you the pork at the 150-degree mark where we wrap them in aluminum foil. Now once you wrap a pork butt in foil, it's not going to take on any new smoke color or flavor, so we're just showing you to that point. If you want to see more, check out the recipe video on the channel. When I saw the results of this test, I was completely blown away by the color the Pit Boss grill put on this shoulder with just salt, pepper, and smoke. I mean, that's the pork butt that I want to show people when they come over for dinner before I shred it. Absolutely impressed with the color on the Pit Boss, so that's the winner in this category. The other grills didn't do a bad job, they just didn't match the Pit Boss on this cook. Now I'll leave it to you to decide which grills took 2nd through 5th place, so leave a comment below to let me know what you think the rest of the grills did and what order you think they should come in. After cooking whole chickens, chicken thighs, and a pork butt, it was time to clean the grill. Now that meant cleaning the grates with a grill brush, emptying the grease from the grease bucket or drawer, and cleaning the ash out of the fire pot. Now the Cuisinart was the winner in how easy it was to clean out the ash, and it's the only unit in this grouping that has a lever to release the ash. Every other grill, you need to take the grates out, take out the diverter panel, and vacuum out the fire pot. Now cleaning the grate is pretty easy with these models, but the easiest to clean are the porcelain coated grates from Pit Boss. Z-Grills is the runner-up in this category, but one thing I also want to point out is that the grates on the LifeSmart unit move around quite a bit because they're not locked in place on the grill. I didn't have any problem with that while I was cooking, but while cleaning, I felt like I was chasing the LifeSmart grates around the grill. Now every grill in the test except the Cuisinart utilizes a grease bucket to dispose of grease, and they're a simple lift off, dump, and put back. Now the Cuisinart has a drawer with a handle that collects grease underneath the cooking chamber, and I find it actually difficult to maneuver in getting that out and back in. The best warranty of the bunch can be found on the Pit Boss with a 5-year warranty. Both the Z-Grills and the Cuisinart have 3-year warranties, and the Expert Grill has a 2-year warranty. The LifeSmart ends out the pack with a 1-year warranty. Now we worked to cover everything that we could think of when covering these grills, and there are a couple of things that didn't neatly fit into categories, but they're worth mentioning. The Cuisinart Oakmont has a large window in the front of the lid so you can see inside without lifting the lid. That lid will get dirty over time, and you can use a rag to wipe it off every now and then and still see through it. It's a nice feature if you feel like taking the time to keep it clean. Now the Oakmont also has a thermometer in the lid of the grill, but it just says smoke, grill, sear, and not the actual temperature numbers that would be much more helpful. The Pit Boss is the only unit in this testing group that actually has a thermometer with temperatures on the hood. Now there are 2 lights inside the Cuisinart that are controlled by a switch over by the control panel, which is something you usually don't see on grills in this price range. On the Expert Grill, one of my favorite features is that there is a prime button that you can press and not have to hold for 8 minutes while you prime the auger with pellets. For our testing, we had to do that multiple times, and the Expert Grill really made that easy. The Expert Grill is also the only unit without a smokestack for exhaust. Instead, it has slits cut into the back of the cooking chamber to allow the smoke to exit. It's also the only unit without a pull handle, so you're pulling it around the patio by the side shelf. Now the Pit Boss has a window in the pellet hopper so I can see how many pellets are left while I'm cooking, and you can find the same window on the Z-Grills model as well. Now I love this because I'm notorious for cooking without remembering to add pellets, and this visual reminder has saved numerous cooks from going awry. So overall, what do we think about these 5 grills, and which one is the winner of our testing? Well, that's really a loaded question because I can't tell you what's most important to you. What I can do is tell you which is the best fit for you based on your needs. So here we go. Are you looking for the most amount of cooking space on a pellet grill for less than $600? If that's you, then you're looking at the LifeSmart 2000B. If cooking consistency is important, where you're cooking very evenly across the entire cooking surface without any real hot spots, well then you want the Z-Grill's 700 series. Now, do you want to cook low and slow and put the best color you possibly can on a pork shoulder while you sit inside in the air conditioning? If that's the case, the Pit Boss 820 is your baby. It has stick burner color in a pellet grill body. Now, do you want the unit in this roundup that costs only $317 compared to the $550 to $600 that the rest of the grills will cost? Now, if cost is a factor, then the Expert Grill Commodore is for you. It didn't win many of the categories that we tested, but for half the price, should we expect it to? And finally, if you're looking for a pellet grill with all the bells and whistles that you'll normally see on grills costing more than $1,000, a grill that did well in most of the tests and had more features than any other, then you want the Cuisinart Oakmont. Now, inevitably, people are going to ask me, but who really won? And say things like, you didn't declare a winner. Well, true. I can't weight the categories for you and tell you which ones matter the most to you. But what I can tell you is that your opinion matters when you buy a grill. It's going to be you out there working with it and cooking on it. So buy the one that fits how you cook and how you operate. Now, if you use the links down below in the description, if we have a coupon code or if we have a link that's going to get you the best price, we put it down in the description for you. So go ahead and check down there and we're going to make sure that you can save some money on these units. If outdoor cooking is your thing, you found your people right here at the Barbecue Lab. We'd love to have you join us by subscribing to the channel, ringing that bell so you get notified when we put out new content to help you get the best gear, learn winning techniques to ensure your success, and get the recipes that will keep people coming back for more. Now, if that sounds like your thing, we'd love to have you stick around. Now, you can also find us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and even TikTok, where we share the sales and deals we're aware of in outdoor cooking, as well as new tips and techniques to help you perfect your technique. Now, we post new videos 3 times a week, and we have some great content coming up where we compare the best in barbecue. We've been working on some of those videos for 6 months now, so you're not going to want to miss what's coming up. I'm David from the Barbecue Lab, and I can't wait to see you next time.